What's up? It's the Genius Biker. I'm back with another tool video. I recently just upgraded from my 46-inch workbench to a 52, a little bit bigger. Gonna let me spread out a little bit more. The main reason why I did it though was because I needed more space to have organization for hardware and parts and things of that nature. So this whole space here is just going to be a dedicated, like, dirty space for grinding stuff and sanding and cutting and all the hardware that I'll typically need, including like electrical work and stuff like that. That'll all be over here. With this video, I just wanted to show where I'm at right now with my tools. I did post a video a while back of my mobile mechanic toolbox. And I don't use that as often anymore, but there is on occasion when I need to throw that in the truck and use it. I primarily use what you see here in my shop. You see I got a little shop going on here. Work on a bunch of different kinds of bikes, usually just one at a time. If you guys want to see more about the equipment and cleaners and stuff that I use, let me know in the comments, but we'll stick to the tools for this one. So my goal with this, similar to that mobile toolbox, was to have everything easy to reach. So if you remember that mobile toolbox, I flip open the top and pretty much everything I want to use regularly is on the top. And then the drawer, I can open the drawer and have the top open, and pretty much all the tools I use are in those two spaces. So I'm keeping that philosophy here. As you can see, I have a lot of stuff on this pegboard. And, you know, it's all stuff I use regularly with working on stuff. So zip ties, obviously, you can never have enough zip ties. Every bike you work on, pretty much there's a zip tie you got to cut and replace. Open end wrench, I don't use this a whole lot other than for the rear stands every now and then to adjust. Obviously, this rubber mallet has seen a lot of use. Use this a lot. It's called the Persuader, and this is the maximum persuasion here, the genuine American hickory. Torque wrench. If you don't have torque wrenches, please don't work on your bikes. Let a professional do that. These are nothing fancy. This one I've had for probably over 25 years. ATD Tools. There's a model number there. This thing's worked great. Obviously the Icon is the 1/2 inch. Really good deal on this from Harbor Freight. Moving on to the pliers. Now I need to upgrade my pliers, so if you guys can leave some recommendations in the comments, I want to upgrade these. These are like 25-year-old. I mean, they're decent, made in the USA, Craftsman, but they just don't grab as well as they used to. And there's so much better pliers out there. You know, I'm looking at the Knipex pliers or something along those lines. Leave a comment, let me know what pliers you guys recommend, and not no fancy, like I saw a YouTube video about it, pliers. I'm talking about pliers that you use when you're working on stuff, primarily motorcycles. So these are my most used pliers here. Let me know what you guys use. These I use a lot, so again, they kind of tie in with the zip ties. I use these a lot. I also use these when I was fabricating these wire harnesses for the buddy scooters. These are snap-on, so I went ahead and spent the money to get a nice set of these because I use them a lot. Obviously, I don't have a lot of snap-on, but stuff that I use a lot, I'll get snap-on. So that segues into these snap-on T-handles. I use the hex stuff a lot. If it's just hand type of hex fasteners, I use these. For more of a torque or heavy duty one, I use these grip edge. I made a video about these grip edge. These have been working great. Highly recommend those. Moving over to the screwdrivers, again, same as the pliers, I need to upgrade my screwdrivers. Now, this little mini pry bar is fantastic, snap-on obviously. These Craftsman, again, 20 plus years old, made in the USA. I need to upgrade them. I'm thinking, you know, some really nice ones I don't have to buy again for another 25 years. I was considering getting the matching snap-on set because I do have this big giant snap-on flathead. But I don't know if the snap-ons are going to be the best. I'm thinking maybe the Veras look nice. Let me know in the comment section. Moving through this section, I also have this telescoping magnet. This thing's obviously cheap from Harbor Freight. Comes in handy a lot. I do recommend crazy gluing in that little magnet. I had the magnet come out one time, so might want to throw a little crazy glue in there. This little snap-on mini screwdriver comes in handy a lot, plus the magnet on top. You can see this thing's got a fair amount of use. That was free. Cheapest snap-on tool you'll ever get. Keep on moving down the line. This is just a little old school 25-year-old Craftsman USA ratchet, and it basically keeps a 10 millimeter deep socket in it. 10 millimeters, obviously the most commonly used for the metric bikes that I work on. These are just measuring instruments for primarily for chain adjustment. I got a marker here. That's from the one motorcycle show. Safety glasses, obviously you got to use these when you're using the Dremel and doing all that other kind of stuff. Some cutting utensils. This 5-pack of scissors from Harbor Freight. The Quinn is probably the best bang for the buck. You get a bunch of great scissors. I use those all the time. Moving down around, keeping with the same thing as the pliers and the screwdrivers, I want to upgrade my wrenches now. These wrenches aren't bad. I got them for free. They're Husky ratcheting, and I use the ratcheting wrenches every now and then. But the thing I don't like about these ratcheting wrenches is here's a standard wrench just for comparison. This is a big difference in the size of the head on these wrenches. So I really like to get a set of just standard wrenches to keep on here that I use all the time. So you guys let me know in the comment what kind of wrenches you should get. I see the icons are all over social media right now saying, you know, the icons better than the snap-ons. But there's other brands out there. You know, I've even considered getting some of those new Craftsman overdrive ones that look pretty interesting. Mac Tools I know has some good ones. The Stallville also are interesting. Let me know in the comments what you guys use. Again, I don't want some poser wrenches. I want some wrenches that you actually use. I use all this stuff pretty much on a daily basis. So that's pretty much the pegboard. Future plans, again, I'm going to upgrade these, upgrade these, upgrade these, and then I'm going to rearrange so I can fit probably a 1/4 inch set of sockets, a magnetic holder for that. That'll pretty much cover, you know, 80% of what I need on a day-to-day basis when I'm wrenching. Also, I got my little light plug in. This is my little charging area here. You see I got a bunch of stuff over here. I got a couple batteries that I charge with the Noco Genius. The work light here, this is an old school Braun. Works okay. Some of these Amazon flashlights, they're not that great. The work area, got the Storm, old school. Just a couple other random things. Oh, you guys probably haven't seen one of these in a while. This is a Radio Shack. Y'all can clown my little iron here. It's Radio Shack. I just used it for a job to repair some plastic bits on an MV Agusta. Still works. So y'all can clown me. I probably spent $5 on that 30 years ago, and still works. So moving on to the drawer. So my first drawer here is mostly sockets. This is not some glamour shot where I got a whole freaking drawer full of sockets that I never use. These are pretty much all sockets I use, and you'll see that because I don't have a full set of all these. I only have what I need. So like I ran into a bike where I needed the 22. I think this was my Harley Davidson front wheel 22 hex, so I bought it. Needed a 27 millimeter for something. I went out and got it. Don't need the whole set. These other random, like 46 millimeter, I can't remember what I use this for. Probably a rear wheel axle on a single side swing arm or something. But I just buy the stuff as I need it. I don't need a whole drawer full of sockets. I pretty much got everything covered with what I have here. Have these little pass-through sockets from Craftsman. Those were a gift. Nice gift for helping somebody work on their bike. Got my little brake bleeder wrench here, Craftsman. This thing comes in handy. It's super thin. This little icon set, everybody knows about this, but one thing I did was I used the 1/4-inch drive bit from out of here, and I got this little hand turn thing. I think I got this from New Jersey discount tool or something like that. I think I got it free with something I bought from them. Anyway, this thing comes in handy. I use this thing a lot. 1/4-inch torque wrench here is some cheap Pittsburgh stuff. I don't really use a 1/4-inch torque wrench that often. The Icon 3/8 ratchet has been fantastic. 90 tooth. You can see I use this thing all the time. It's got a little bit of wear, but the finish has stayed on there. The only reason why I bought this, because it went on sale one time. I think it was $39 or something, and I was like, that has got to be the cheapest 90 tooth, you know, quality Icon ratchet that they've had. So I didn't really care it was gold. I just cared about the 90 tooth for 40 bucks. More ratchet type stuff. Got my 1/4-inch Craftsman here. Got my extensions, all these extensions. 1/2-inch, again, old 30-year-old USA Craftsman 1/2-inch. 1/2-inch breaker bar. Best deal, best bang for the buck to Pittsburgh. All this stuff over here is all, you know, standard USA inch stuff. I primarily just got this stuff in a set, that same set I've had for like 30 years. I haven't used a lot of this stuff. Came in handy when I got into Harleys, so I use this when I work on Harleys, especially these guys here. But I'm going to probably downsize this section because I don't use all this stuff. I'll probably just go with like the small stuff in 1/4-inch, medium stuff in 3/8, and then the big stuff in 1/2-inch. I don't need all these different sizes. I just don't use them. Moving on down, the next drawer, this is where it kind of thins out because, again, most of the stuff I use is right up here, this top drawer and up here on the pegboard. This is kind of secondary stuff that comes in handy every now and then. These I do use a lot. These come in handy for a lot of different things. Tire irons. Again, I needed this at some point. 24 millimeter wrench. Impact screwdriver set. Please go and grab one of these if you don't have one already. This thing comes in handy for so many things, especially replacing these ignitions. I just Dremel a little slot in those dummy bolts and use this impact to get those bolts out. I've been replacing a lot of ignitions. There's a lot of stolen bikes and a lot of attempted theft where they damage the ignition, so I've had to replace a lot of those, unfortunately, here in the Bay Area. A bunch of random stuff. The OG penny cutter scissors, I use those. The Knipex, I did invest in these. This is basically used only for cable fabrication, so throttle cable. I do a lot of two-stroke stuff, so like these Aprilia RS50s, they have a weird cable that wires off into an oil injector line and a carburetor line. So I fab all that stuff up with this. Just a bunch of other little random stuff over here. Stuff that I use quite often. I got the Olfa cutter, some tape. All this stuff here, I use this to mark off stuff when I torque it down. The anti-seize, I use this a lot. Thread locker, obviously, you got to use a lot of that. Just little knickknacks here and there. Over here, again, a lot of empty space. I need to move my tap and die set in here, so that's why I have space over here for that. I got a belt / chain tensioner, chain tool, chain breaker set. Bunch of random Vespa and Piaggio tools for working on scooters. Fork seal tool, spark indicator, bunch of different oil filter wrenches. Nothing too fancy. Over here is kind of like my brushes and sandpaper and cleanup drawer. That's just a bunch of junk right now. Here's my valve clearance drawer. Pretty much bought these just for doing valve clearances. I know this is probably overkill, but you know, when your hands are oily and you're getting into tight places, this thing is coming in really, really clutch. You see, I used to use these. I used to drop these all the time. They used to slip out of my hand. So this is a nice upgrade. Moving over here, got a big empty drawer ready for some more tools. And then down below, I got my power tools. This is all the power stuff I use. I don't have any fancy Milwaukee, just old ass used Makita 1/4 inch. My 1/2 inch impact, I've used this for probably 20 years at least. Got my blower to clean out the shop. The AirHawk, I did a video with a mobile tool bag with the AirHawk. I still use this. I have an air compressor here and an air hose, but I find it easier just whip this thing out, set the pressure that I want, and then fill the tire. So I still use this a lot. All my little drill bits, assorted drivers, punch. Over here we got nothing, another big empty drawer. So as you can see, it's not a lot of tools, nothing fancy, but it's giving me a lot of extra space, and I use all this space. I'm trying to get more organized. Let me know in the comments if you have suggestions for upgrades on this stuff. I'll see you in the next video.